This is MadMel217, finally back with a Lego, in this case, mech. The Hazop Heavy Forces unit. Color scheme-wise, I went pretty heavy on the hazmat yellow and black. As you can see with the dispersion of yellow and black. All the yellow is on the main body, but leaving the black for some of the parts on the body that don't have the pieces in yellow, and on the arms and, well, the treads. And speaking of the treads, yes, this mech does not have legs. I roughly based this off of the gun tank from the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. Well, sure, this is a lot smaller than the gun tank, but it has a similar design with the lack of legs, instead just treads, dual cannons instead of hands, and a backpack, which we'll look closer at later. Well, no better time than the present, as we get in close for more detail. See that with the arms, very asymmetrical design, because this side has what's supposed to be a flare gun and a double barrel flamethrower. Well, this side has two missile launchers and a quad barrel machine gun. Now that weapon is one of the weapons more based off of a gun tank. Then on the front, you can see, well, two ladder pieces that I used probably as like some sort of stepping thing to more easily get up to it. And under them, I do have light pieces. Well, translucent yellow pieces, which are supposed to be the lights. Moving around to the back, it has these two tanks, which on the gun tank were used for fuel and its rockets, and maybe even storing ammo. But in this case, fuel for its flamethrower and a internal oxygen system. Moving it down, you can see this thing's engines. And rather simple on the outside. Especially in the lower section, it's not very simple. It's quite complex. And continuing on the details, we can look inside the cockpit. You can see the pilot just there. Let's pull him out. And so you can see better, let's just open up the cockpit a bit more. Okay. With that out of the way, you can properly see all the details in there. I really went ham on this cockpit, even though you can still see some of the body pieces, because, well, one brick thick wall. We're saying that 5 times fast. Now, getting the torso back together. Can take a slightly closer look at the pilot. And this is just the pilot figure I use when I can. Body and legs of a Dagobah Luke, and head and hair of Age of Ultron Hawkeye. It just works. Now, situating him in is very simple. Because, well, very big seat and pretty open. It's just a hatch. Now, moving on to articulation, it is pretty maneuverable, especially in the treads. To start, well, the frame for the arms is the same, which is ball-jointed shoulder, which allows it to go any which way, and ball-jointed elbow. But on this side, it has the spinning barrels for the machine gun, while on this side, it's limited because of the cord from the backpack to the flamethrower. So it can't do quite as much, because then it will pull on the cord. It does, however, have a full waist rotation on a more clickety ratchet joint. And the treads. The treads are actually on a series of ball joints. Now for this, I actually got it from the high-grade Gundam The Origins gun tank, which I do not have. I've just seen stuff on it. So it can extend out and is on 2 separate ball joints, even though the one more inside the suit is less maneuverable because of how it's built. In fact, looking underneath, you can see how solid the base is. But it can go any which way you want. Now, accessories. This does have a couple. The first 2 are weapons for the pilot. First, you have this rocket launcher, real basic. Then, another real basic one, a rifle. And those can just store on the back. Sure, because the 2 storing points are different, you can't store them on either spot. They have their own specific clips. But it just goes together, like that. Then finally, another piece that the gun tank is known for, a big cannon. Yeah, I used a barrel for the end of the barrel, but it works. I actually quite like the shaping that I got on it. And to attach this, you just plug it into the Technic pin port still left on the shoulder. I prefer to put it on the right shoulder. And voila! One big gun. And for articulation, it has 2 points, so you can aim it up. And even down, if necessary. Like reloading or cooling down or whatever. Now, couple size comparisons. Let's just get the pilot out for the first. Here it is, next to the pilot. You can see that it's a fairly decent sized. A lot smaller than the proper gun tanks, but this is not a gun tank. It's based off of a gun tank. here it is with, hold on, with Daytona. And you can see with, well, because of the antennae, and if you have the shoulder cannon on, it is actually taller than Daytona. But it's not a fair comparison because the Hazop doesn't have legs. Now, finally, high-grade Gundam Barbatos 6th form. Yeah, it's big. But, well, that was about it for this unit. So, this has been MadMeld217, signing off.